Have you expected like a big increase in inquiries and new customers since the last 2 years? Why people really choose UAE or Dubai? Okay, a lot of people are promoting Dubai, and you just mentioned Monaco, Thailand, you have Malta, Cyprus, Georgia. There's so many countries, South America. What's the difference? So you have a company in the UK, you have like say 10 employees, salary. What else do you do in your tax company? So welcome, Joshua, to a new podcast episode. Today's topic, all about taxes, millionaires, why people are moving to Dubai. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I'm hoping to come on and add a lot of value and hopefully show people how they can benefit from moving to Dubai and hopefully paying a lot less tax as well.
That's the biggest topic, I think, in the world, isn't it? At the moment, or it's just continue.
Yeah, absolutely. In the UK, since we've got the new Labour government, in the UK, taxes for just the ordinary person, the wealthy person, the millionaire, is just going up. We've got the budget that's coming next Wednesday now.
Next Wednesday,
officially next Wednesday, the 30th of October. There's lots of rumoured changes that could be taking place, increases to capital gains tax, exit taxes, wealth taxes, so much more that's basically going to make it very taxing to stay in the UK for the average person and certainly the hard-working millionaire.
So they're just trying to keep people in their own country not to leave anymore.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things.
That's the idea,
I know. So I know it was you to talk about the exit tax, but that's potentially what they're looking to line up. So one of the rumours so far is changes to capital gains tax. So for a lot of people watching this, capital gains tax, when you have a capital asset, property, shares, crypto, you pay tax when you sell that, capital gains. For most of that at the moment in the UK, for crypto or shares, the maximum tax rate you'll pay is 20%, which is, okay, that's reasonable. That's a reasonable level. But Rachel Reeves kind of leaked rumours of what they're looking at, potentially changing it to 39%. So
20 to 39%.
20 to 39. And then what they might be looking to do as well is actually levy in an exit tax, which and what that would achieve is when you left the UK, all of your assets, so all your shares, your crypto, your property, you would pay tax on that when you leave the UK, even though you haven't sold it.
Wow, so if you leave it, you deregister in the UK, you can still keep it there, but you still have to, they still want to have the 39%.
They still want to make you, before you can leave the UK, they'll tax you at the 39% when you've not sold it, you've not got the cash when you leave.
Okay.
So all of your assets, if you're sitting on a £5 million crypto gain, there's $2 million in tax before they allow you to leave the UK.
So if that happens, it is happening, isn't it? You said
it's rumoured.
It's rumoured.
It might happen. It might not. There's changes to capital gains tax. Quite likely, that's likely to go ahead to some degree, whether it's 39% or whatever the rates are changed to. The exit tax is a possibility at the minute.
But if it does happen and people do want to leave, what will happen? Is there still a way around it, or?
It depends when they leave. This is why a lot of people. So I know we're recording this. What's the date today? Kind of the 24th of October. When I first started talking about this exit tax, when it got leaked, we just helped a lot of clients get out of the UK now whilst they can before this exit tax is introduced, because they might introduce it and it becomes effective on the 30th of October. So anybody who leaves after that date, there's no way around it.
But people don't have a chance to leave in that short time sometimes.
Yeah,
so they're leaving it, say they're moving with the family, they have to find a new job, or they have to move the company, so that all will fall afterwards.
Yeah, that's what we've done. So especially for a lot of clients, just help them establish their residency here now before it gets to the 30th of October, so that they can at least prove to HMRC that they were becoming non-resident at that time. And depending on just how it's introduced, what the requirements and the rules are around it, that should be enough. But they might also introduce it come April, the new tax year, in which case people might have a 6-month window to leave the UK. We'll just have to see on budget day exactly kind of just how bad it gets in the UK.
And what's the idea behind it? Just to scare the people to not have a different life, just get more money from the people. But where's the money go to?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just the main one is just to get as much money as they can. Yeah. And then where the money goes to.
The asylum seekers.
Yeah, the asylum. Yeah, that's just. It wouldn't even be so bad if paying taxes, if you paid a decent amount, the NHS, the free healthcare service we've got in the UK.
Was rubbish, isn't it?
It used to be really good. It used to be the crown jewel. It used to be fantastic. The UK was the best at that. But now, just because the money goes everywhere else,
Yeah.
all these kind of corrupt politicians, bloated government contracts, asylum seekers. In the UK, you can come across as an illegal immigrant. They will give you a hotel, pay for you, give you a food allowance, pay for your kids to go to school. Your kids you get the NHS and everything else.
Ticket, TV license.
TV license and everything else that a normal hard-working person in the UK has to pay for. But as an illegal immigrant coming across with no authority to be in the UK, the government pay for that. And that's just absolutely crazy. And that's why they've got to raise the taxes on everyone else who's hard-working British citizens paying tax in the UK to fund that and everything else, which just is absolutely absurd.
It's sad, isn't it? You
Yeah,
think
it
about
was.
you like a British citizen, you work all your life for
Yeah.
something, you're doing everything for the country, and it's like you get thrown out in the end.
Yeah, that's ultimately what was, thrown out or definitely pushed out.
Yeah.
At the minute, you'll see seeing so many people that have said, previously, I never thought I'd leave the UK. I was always happy paying my taxes. I was patriotic. But now where people are seeing just where the money's going, how it's being wasted, they say, well, I can't actually be part of the system anymore because it just doesn't make sense. The money's being wasted and it's not going where it needs to. And their answer is, well, let's bleed the golden goose dry. Let's raise taxes rather than thinking, well, already our taxes are pretty high. Let's be more efficient with our spending. Let's cut back on all these illegal immigrants. Stop that entirely. Stop funding wars in Ukraine. Let's stop this stuff that doesn't actually benefit the country. Put some more money into NHS. Investigate and find efficiencies and cut MPs' pays and everything else that they could do. But ultimately, it's always raise taxes, raise taxes, raise taxes. And that's why people are leaving.
Do you think if you compare to other countries in the world, like Europe, for example,
Yeah.
Germany or Spain, that UK is one of the worst countries doing that, or the other countries are also similar
I
getting
think
there?
it's the whole of Western Europe is just on a absolutely Western Europe and America as well. The Western world is just on a downward trajectory. I'm not quite sure. This is where you can get into some conspiracy theories, but I'm not quite sure what the intention is behind the senior policy members making these government policies to accept mass immigration from all these other countries and everything else, which ultimately is leading to the decline. Because people know what is going to happen, but they're still allowing it to in the entire Western world. That's why Dubai is great, because Dubai is not a dumping ground for the rest of the world. If you want to come and live and work in Dubai, you need a visa, you need to be earning money, you need to be doing a job. There's no free handouts in Dubai at all. You come here, you work. And that's how it should be for immigration to work well and actually be a scalable policy.
They show how it's possible, isn't
Yeah.
it? So they give people from, say, the poorer countries, they give them a job.
Yeah.
They give them opportunities if they work and
Yeah.
do something. In their own countries, and I've just been recently to India,
Yeah.
they don't do anything in the end, you know? So
Yeah.
that's why they're coming here.
Whereas in the UK, we'll give them house, free everything.
Yeah.
Just give it to them for free. You don't need to work.
So if they all could, they all go to Europe or
Yeah.
to UK in the end, or
Yeah.
to USA.
And ultimately, that's just not scalable. Obviously, the world is, the economics of the world are very complex.
Yeah.
Some bits are less fortunate than others. Being born in a Western country is a privilege. But if you take in enough of everybody else from everybody else in the world that's got wars and everything else going on, all that does is bring down the quality of the UK and the Western world, because that's just what's going to happen. And we're really seeing it now in the UK, where just how the quality of life out there, the rising crime and everything else that happens as a result of it. So it's not just tax increases that people focus on when it comes to moving. Crime is definitely one of the other factors that a lot of our clients cite when exploring reasons to move abroad.
Yeah.
London, you can no longer wear a Rolex in London because you've got people going around on bikes, stealing your phone, stealing watches. It's just not safe anymore. And until they do something about that, the quality of life in London and the general UK is just going to go down and down and down.
But I've lived in UK, Wales for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
I went to school there, finished my school, born and raised in Germany.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like if these things wouldn't happen, I would probably also still live there. People wouldn't even think about moving to UAE, I think.
Yeah.
We would still, why should we move from the Western world
Yeah.
of like massive big countries, UK,
Yeah.
Germany, one of the best countries in the
Yeah,
world. Why should we move
Yeah.
out?
The UK overall is a fantastic country. If you were paying a sensible amount of taxes there, if the NHS worked, if you didn't see your tax revenue, when I pay a cheque to HMRC for £100,000, if you then didn't turn on the TV and see about how another 1,000 illegal immigrants have come over on boats today and you know just what they're getting from your money, if all of that was solved, which, if the kind of Reform Party get in, that's what their pledge is to do, stop the boats, who actually in the last general election, they got the largest amount of votes, but because of the way the proportional voting system works in the UK, actually we got Labour in when they got, I think it was the least amount of votes among the top parties. But that's what they propose to do, but we're stuck in with a Labour government for the next 5 years, and they're kind of massively just pro-immigration, pro-expenditure and everything else, so it's only going to get worse in the UK for the next 5 years, certainly.
Have you expected like a big increase in inquiries and new customers since the last 2 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've been in this business how long now?
Yeah, so about 2.5 years we've been working in international tax, helping wealthy individuals from the UK relocate mostly to Dubai, and this past 6 months it's just absolutely skyrocketed in terms of what we're seeing. So many people, as soon as Labour were looking likely to get in, were reaching out saying, okay, I know that Labour are going to come in and absolutely ruin things for us, so I need to get out now. And as soon as they got in, even more people. Now all these talks about capital gains tax, exit tax, wealth tax, every kind of tax possible, it's just getting busier and busier and busier, because you can't stay in the UK, subject yourself to all these taxes when it just doesn't make sense.
But why do you choose for your clients Dubai? Because also you were talking about Monaco, for example, Thailand. So what's the difference if you open in Monaco and Thailand or any other country?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Monaco is often one of the hotspots because it's in Europe. It's sensible all year round weather, close to the UK. But the trouble with Monaco is it's very hard and expensive to get set up there. You do have to be truly high net worth.
That means how much?
Minimum 10 million net worth to even look at
pounds.
Monaco. Yeah, 10 million pounds net worth to look at Monaco. You need to become £500,000 euro bonds and everything else. It's complicated and expensive to get set up there. You have to go for interviews, everything. Thailand is great. You can get some very tax efficient. You can pay no tax living in Thailand, but for a family who want to send their kids to school, you want good quality education, you want routine, you want stable infrastructure. Thailand doesn't really offer that. So, on balance, Dubai is hands down, I don't want to say tax haven, but if you're moving for tax purposes, lifestyle purposes, Dubai is 100% the best place for that.
You know any other countries as well? Georgia, Malta, Cyprus, or
yeah, Malta, Cyprus. But again, they're kind of almost not. They're not Dubai. They're not.
Yeah.
They've not got the infrastructure. Like Cyprus, if there's a financial crisis, your money's not safe there. You've got low taxes. It's not zero tax, but I think you can get 12.5% corporation tax, 5% income tax.
Okay. So in the end, why people really choose UAE or Dubai? Okay, a lot of people are promoting Dubai.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned Monaco, Thailand, we have Malta, Cyprus, Georgia. There's so many countries, South America.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's really then the reason why everyone is really coming to UAE, especially to Dubai?
Yeah, it's a balance of things. That's what it is. You can pay no tax or very low tax in all those countries you just mentioned. I think Peru got 0% tax. Malta, Cyprus, very low taxes. But there, if you've got kids and you want to send them to a good private school, you probably can't do that very well. If you want kind of nice family activities, Dubai, you've got all the malls everywhere. Dubai on balance has everything you need. It's low tax, extremely safe, great education, world-class dining and everything else that those countries don't necessarily offer. South America, might be able to get tax-free there. Your kids probably can't go to a decent school. It's not necessarily that safe. Places like that can be a little bit corrupt. Same with Malta and Cyprus. So yeah, they're fantastic countries, but would you want to live there? It's probably not got the best infrastructure, healthcare, education, again, safety. Whereas Dubai really nails all of that in one place.
But for example, if you open a consulting company and you do like it's online, you could just go to another country. Maybe it's cheaper to set up and still live anywhere else. It's also an option, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if they don't have a family, say they open the company in Peru.
Yeah.
I don't know what does it cost in Peru?
It probably wouldn't be much.
Wouldn't be much, yeah. But so you set it up there, open your Stripe account, and then receive the money from your clients there. So it's possible, and then just move around the world 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. That's also possible. I haven't heard, to be honest, anyone doing it from our inquiries and clients. Sometimes I ask myself why.
But that's it, especially if you've got a large amount of money, would you trust a large amount of money in a Peruvian bank, most likely not. You've not got that strong financial, robust infrastructure.
Yeah.
Whereas Dubai, Abu Dhabi, the UAE has one of the strongest financial infrastructures in the world.
Yeah.
So, you can leave £1 million in a bank here, and that's fine. You've still got a small account as far as it goes in terms of their average client base.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to one of these more remote countries, South America, well, actually, if you've got $1 million sitting in an account there, that's not necessarily safe.
What you could do is like open your company here, like have a holding company in Hong Kong or Singapore or US, and hold that company and then receive the money on these accounts in the other country. It's also possible. More people are doing this as well.
Absolutely. In terms of what we say to clients, we just say keep it simple. Yeah, you can have a company in the US, company here, company everywhere, but ultimately you just want, it might save you a little bit of money, but what's it worth in terms of stress, compliance, staying up to date with changing tax legislation? So you want to try and keep your setup as simple as possible. And that's why we just say set up a simple company in Dubai. You'll get your visa here so you can stay as long as you need, get bank accounts and everything else. And then you can benefit from setting up a company in Dubai, multi-currency accounts, and it just gives you a simple, streamlined setup.
Yeah.
Whereas rather than having to worry about 5 different accounts, different countries, having to travel around, and ultimately it just creates a lot more stress and effort that it might be saving you a couple of $1,000s a year.
Exactly. Set it up here, 2 to 3 weeks, get your residency, bank accounts, your license between $5,000 and $10,000. So it depends on what you go with. So it's and people stay or they leave again or come back again. So it's and there's like you explained before, it's a business hub. It's just expanding all the time. And I don't know how long you've been coming here to Dubai, but if you come now, just a few months, 2 months back again.
Yeah.
So if you compare it now from last time.
Oh yeah, it's changed. Since I left in, even just the roads.
Yeah.
Obviously traffic. Some people say traffic.
The bridges, what they are.
Yeah, the bridges. So I thought, I wasn't using the sat nav at the time. Usually I was good at driving around. I thought, what's this bridge? And it took in a wrong turn and everything else. But that's kind of a good way of explaining how Dubai changes, because traffic can be a problem in Dubai, but the government are actively solving that problem. They noticed that certain areas, crazy traffic, so they're building bridges and everything else, which have solved it. And that's just an example of how in 6 months, they've built this bridge, solved the traffic problem. All these new kind of places that are open, in 6 months, it's completely different almost to what it was when I left at the start of the summer.
And you think who's managing it in the background, eh?
Yeah.
Which people are doing it. It's like, I would like to know like how quick they make these decisions.
Yeah.
If you look back to UK or Germany,
Oh, yeah.
how long they think about doing something, it takes years
Yeah,
and years.
to give you an example, in the UK, to build a footbridge, Peterborough where I live, it took them 2 years to build a simple footbridge. 2 years. Road was closed, road works all the time, 2 years of traffic and disturbance. Yeah. Whereas Dubai, hardly any disturbance, 6 or 9 months or however long it took, and they built a massive bridge, 3 or 4 lanes for cars. So it just shows you the speed at which things get done here compared to the UK.
I think the systems are just so old-fashioned in these countries, aren't they? They just, the people who are designing it, they have no knowledge anyway.
Yeah.
So they just say, maybe can be done, not be done, and then don't have enough people who can decide it.
Yeah.
So that's also a thing. That's why
that's the thing with the UK, because they've got so much tax revenue. It's all just, everything's bloated in the UK. Everyone's getting overpaid. All these contracts are going out. Everybody's kind of taking their slice, and ultimately it takes a lot longer, as in it's a lot more expensive. Whereas the government in Dubai, they've got a tight rein on their finances. Everyone's motivated and incentivized in Dubai to get things done fast, to get them done cheap, get them done well, because they know that actually they've got to manage the finances in Dubai. They can't just increase taxes left, right, because people will leave. Whereas in the UK, that seems to be the go-to. Okay, increase taxes to solve the problems. Whereas Dubai, they think we need to get things done fast and get them done cheap because we do have a budget. We cannot increase taxes. And if the Western world adopted that mentality, it would be a completely different place to live.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the difference? So you have a company in the UK.
Yeah.
You have like, say, 10 employees, salary slips. What money does the company have to pay to the employee? What expenses they have to pay? And what's the difference compared if you have a company in Dubai with 2 employees or 10 employees?
Yeah.
Like how the system is easier compared to the UK?
Yeah, so with the UK, if you've got a company there, you'll pay corporation tax. For most businesses now, it's 25% corporation tax. And then when you actually employ people, you have to pay something, social security, employers' national insurance it's called. For most people, that's 13.8% on the staff salary. There's a small kind of tax-free threshold, about £9,100, but for the sake of simplicity, the entire salary, it's safe to assume, you pay 13.8% payroll taxes on what you actually pay the employee. So it makes it very expensive to hire people in the UK. If you're paying somebody £100,000 a year, well, actually, you've got to pay about £13,000 of national insurance on top of their salary.
So 130,000 you're paying
100,
actually.
yeah, 100. That goes to the government. That's
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
And then that employee pays income tax on that, and employees' national insurance again on that. So the government take their slice again. So on what's actually cost the business 113, they want to pay their employee. The employee ends up with probably on 100,000, maybe about 65, 70,000 pounds.
50%.
Yeah, so a good kind of 40, 50% on that. Whereas in Dubai, nothing.
Nothing.
Of course, you've got the 9% corporation tax that's coming in for most businesses 2026, but no employee income tax, no employer's national insurance, no social security, no payroll taxes. So if you want to pay your employee 100,000,
You pay on the account.
they get the
instead.
100. They get the 100,000 and job done.
No salary slips done.
Yeah.
You just pay him on the bank account, or if you have more employees, you can use WPS
Yeah.
payment, and then it gets paid. Simple system, isn't it?
Simple as that. No messing around, no taxes, a lot less compliance. It's a lot easier. You've not got to worry about I can't afford to give this employee the maximum salary. Whereas here you can say, okay, I can pay you 113 because I previously had my business in the UK, we're making money working internationally, and it was costing me 113. So I would just pass that straight to the employee, who now gets paid more. So the business wins, the employee wins, but the government lose.
Do you have like inquiries about that? Like, say, if someone, because we have a client and he's thinking to relocate his business to Dubai from London, moving his people, half of people here are looking for a warehouse. Do you have a lot of people asking about how it would work? But some of them, it takes time, of course, to do the step, doesn't it? Because they don't know how it would work, how to get the employees, would the people move it? But if they would do it, they would save a lot of money, and they could maybe provide more people a job.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we see a lot of people doing that, especially the type of clients that we work with. You've got some of them that are almost kind of towards the end of their business life, so they come over here almost as kind of semi-early retirement, met through tax savings. Then a lot of people that are over here and either developing property now, doing villas, moving UK businesses over. So we definitely see a lot of people doing that just because how easy it is over here, the cost of labour, Dubai is a global hub, and everything else, and the investment opportunities that are here. So it's definitely worth looking into for most businesses. If your business is successful in the UK, why not bring a part of it to the UAE, tap into lower talent costs and everything else, because ultimately you'll be more successful in the long run.
And for example, if you have a client with 4 kids, he has a business, he has some properties, how would you go or consult him what steps he should do in the beginning? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's really kind of where we come in and the value that we provide. So for the first time a client comes to us, we'll fully review their circumstances and basically create
They have to pay the consultation?
Yeah. That's a chargeable service, and actually just review their entire circumstances. And then what we do is we create their tax strategy plan. So we basically do it all for them, fully understand their circumstances, say, okay, you've got a house here, how many days you can spend in the UK, set up a Dubai company, close down the UK company, move the employees, kids, everything, run through that service for them, and just give them that as a document and help them execute it step by step with our partners.
So if they do want to proceed with it, then they will go to the second step.
Yeah.
And then you work with the accounting company here, with us, for example, doing the visas, the license. So what is your average client? Is it families? Are the multi-millionaires? Are the singles?
It's almost a case of there is no average client. It's just so varied. We literally work with people that may be making £100,000 a year, freelance web design, social media management, that just want to come to Dubai, have the better quality of life. And that can be a lot of our clients, but equally, the next phone call that we have, the next meeting, could be an entrepreneur worth 100 million, who's literally looking at selling their UK business, coming over here. So the average, because tax impacts everybody so differently, there's just not an average client. It could be anywhere from 100,000 to 100 million in terms of what we're working with.
How many clients have you had so far, say this year?
Yeah. So this year, in terms of even consultations and tax reports that we've probably worked on, this year alone, we're in October, it probably would have been about 60 to 70 clients.
Yeah, it's a lot if you think about it. Yeah. It's like we have October now, and nearly November.
Yeah, in terms of, and these are wealthy individuals that are leaving the UK. Not all of them come to Dubai, Thailand, everywhere else, but these are people that are paying usually 6 or 7 figures in tax that are leaving the UK and no longer paying it. So the impact of that for the UK economy is dangerous. And the Liz Truss, And, all the Labour government need to realise that, because if not, the hard-working middle class are just going to face the squeeze.
Yeah, and they say the quality people, the entrepreneurs, they're going to leave the other country. So all that skill is getting lost. That's what they don't see in the end.
Yeah.
Because we build the countries up. We provide people jobs.
Yeah.
We give them more money, So if they all moving to other countries, the other countries are getting built up. Like in UAE, we're getting more qualified people moving here, building companies, employing people. So the quality is always also just increasing all the time. And this is just UAE. If we are look like maybe in the future into Saudi, that's the next big market. Who knows what's going to happen there?
Yeah, something needs to change. If not, it's almost the Western world will reach a point of no return. Yeah. It's pretty close already, but it will literally just be some kind of dystopian kind of future reality that you would never dream of would happen. But that's where the UK will end up.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting topic, actually. What do you think about about Trump and Camilla? Do you follow it a bit? Do you think it's like what happens there? It's like it will give a reaction to the other countries.
Yes, I follow it to some extent. Obviously, I'd be pro-Trump if I were in the US, and I'd vote Trump all day long. But yeah, it's a case of what's happening there will probably happen in Europe. Nigel Farage, Donald Trump, good friends. Nigel Farage, leader of Reform in the UK, and he's all about sensible politics, curbing immigration, looking at all the government bloat, and actually fixing the UK. And that's kind of what Trump's looking to do in the US. It's a case of taking the politics out of politics and bringing somebody in with a business mindset, because ultimately these are all financial problems, these are business problems. The government is a business. You've got customers, effectively. The customers are the people that live there and pay tax. You've got to provide services for it. So it's ultimately getting a business person in to come in and look at things as a business perspective rather than a politician, and that's what will get the change that's needed.
Mm-hmm. So you would vote for Trump because he's a businessman and he thinks differently like a politician?
Yeah, exactly that. He just thinks he's not a politician. If you see Kamala Harris, she's been vice president for the past however many years and hasn't made all the changes she said she was going to make. So why would anybody with any ounce of intelligence vote for her? It just doesn't make sense.
But what will happen if Trump actually wins, but it gets rigged? You don't know, because the thing is in the US, when you vote, you don't have the ID to show.
It's the ballot system.
There's no evidence, so it can happen.
Yeah.
So that will be like the reaction to all the other countries.
Well, exactly that. There's probably a good chance that might happen, and in which case they'll recount everything else, and we'll never know. But that's the kind of thing we just have to hope and pray it doesn't happen, because especially Trump getting in, the world should theoretically be a better place. He's already said, the Russian-Ukraine war, he will look to stop that. He's one of these no-nonsense leaders. If you had Joe Biden in, who could barely get a sentence out for the past however many years, whereas actually Trump, he's fully corpus mentis and everything else. So actually he will solve these problems. Rather than just sending billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine, he will actually just solve the problem rather than putting money onto a bad problem that doesn't need to exist.
Exactly. But that's the interesting part, and then we just talk about politicians now a bit. We think about like most of the countries which are going down.
Yeah.
They have politicians. We have no idea about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then you see countries like US. If Trump wins, be fantastic. I'm also for Trump. I love this guy. And then you see Europe, Poland. There's a politician. I don't know if you follow that. He's also amazing what he's doing.
Yeah.
He thinks about Trump. So Poland is the safest country in Europe.
Yeah, well, have you seen?
Because he's doing a different system, and he just does what he thinks for the people.
Yeah.
So you see the difference of Poland to all the other countries. What's happening?
Which is crazy, because 20 years ago, the concept in the EU of Poland was it's in a safe country. Poland wasn't a great country to live in. It was unsafe 20 years ago. Yeah. All the Polish people were coming to the UK. And now all the Polish people left the UK because actually the UK is not that good. We've gone back to Poland.
Same in Germany.
Yeah. And ultimately, I know the Polish, because they weren't taking in the illegal immigrants. They voted against it. They said, we're not taking it in. And the European Union are actually finding them, I think it's €1 million a day because they're not taking them in. And they said, we will pay that to keep our country and make sure everybody who wants to come here as an immigrant follows the proper means. Yeah. That's what rules are there for.
Yeah, exactly. It should be like that. It's the same system. What's UAE doing?
Yeah.
They're allowing the people in legally, if they get the visa and if they work, if they can't do anything, you have to go back.
You can't
Simple system.
You can't have a system that says if you come across illegally on a boat, you get to the top of the list. You can beat the system just by coming in illegally. When you start to do that, you might as well not have rules because the rules don't work.
Yeah.
You need to have strict punishments for not following the rules, and that's ultimately how a country should be run. And the Western Europe, the Western world, it's just not doing that at the minute. And until they change that, things just aren't going to get better, and people will keep leaving.
Exactly. Do you think UAE will keep this place like safe and the taxes, like we have the 9% corporate tax, no personal income tax? Do you think it's going to like stay like this, or you think it's maybe going to change and go into the negative downside that people think, okay, now I'm here, we got all the people here, and then in 2-3 years they will change the system, say now we're going to tax you all 30% or something?
Yeah, I definitely think they'll bring a tax at some point.
Yeah.
But it will be low. It may be 10% income tax in maybe the next 5 to 10 years. Once they've attracted all the talent, it will be enough because the UAE will be mindful. If we bring in a 30% tax, people will leave. So they'll put in just enough where actually they can continue to invest in the country, invest in policing, and make sure that it is still a nice place to live, but not so much that it disincentivizes you and you just pack up and leave. So I definitely think that where we are at the minute with Dubai, we're in a golden area. It's a unique opportunity. It's one of the best places to live at the minute that is relatively tax-free for most people. And this is almost once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of people, a lot of business owners that want to come here, have a great life and build wealth. You know, come here, invest the tax savings, property, stocks, crypto, and build wealth that will last you lifetime or generations. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for that with Dubai, because once it reaches a certain tipping point where they've hit their population 8 million by 2040, they would have to introduce some kind of tax just to maintain the quality of life. If they've doubled the size of the population, they need to double the police force, double everything else, and that does require investment. And Dubai is a great place to live, so I would still live here if I was paying 10 or 15% tax, maybe even 20%, because that's a reasonable amount for what you're getting back in return from the country.
Exactly. I think it's not like, okay, people still say if they have never been here, the number one reason is taxes. There is a way, of course, the taxes, but it's like you mentioned before, it's the overall why people are staying here. Like you say, we could go in Peru or open something, you know?
The average person doesn't move here for tax. Think of how many British expats are here. They're here living and working. Yeah, they might be, they're not paying any tax, but ultimately the living cost can be slightly higher. So they're probably not financially, a lot of people that are just living, working here, real estate agents, doctors, teachers, they're not massively better off than they are in the UK. But they come here and live here because it's a better place to live.
Yeah.
Business owners, that's where you get the massive tax savings. But ultimately, once they've been here a while, I think this is a great place to live. And if you're paying a little bit in taxes here, that's fine for what you get back.
Depends on the business. Like if you have, like, say, an operating business already, it's like an online business, and then you can just move it here, receive the money. You have your clients, you do marketing, like personal online coach or consultancy, or masterminds. It's already set. But if you're like opening a new business, like we have a consultancy, we do the real estate, and this has only been like 2.5 years now. It's a hard business, and people, I think, underestimate that as well. When they come here, they think the blue sky, the beaches, is easy, but actually it's much harder to really continue a good business, to scale a business.
To tap into the Dubai market, it's a
small market in the end. We're like 3-4 million. If you compare UK 60, Germany 80 million, so it's much larger.
Dubai is smaller than London.
Yeah.
So in terms of the amount of business,
smaller than London. Yeah.
Which is crazy when you think about it. Just for one, actually how geographically big it is, and how people conceive Dubai to be its own country. A lot of people don't even know that it's part of the UAE. They think it's a country. They think it's a country. But actually, the population is smaller than London. But actually, doing business here is challenging. That's why for a lot of our clients, they usually have their existing business in the UK or wherever they'll run it overseas, or they'll come here with their unique systems, their manufacturing, they'll relocate it here and then sell internationally. Because actually doing business in Dubai can be challenging.
Yeah, because there's so many competition and everyone is like offering, like, say, cheap prices, so it's hard to really stand out. But in the long-term run, if you do it properly, you will succeed and stand out. It's just hard. It's like, it's everywhere we do business, but it's just like 10 times harder than doing it in another country. That's what people underestimate. And people, of course, we don't know the real numbers. They come here, open a business, or they get employed, they work for a company, and people do move back again.
Yeah.
You know, of course, it happens everywhere in the end. But if they can, they would love to stay here and to live here. And what's also happening, as you know, it's like people who can't afford like the rents anymore, they're moving out to the other cities, Charger, Russell, Cayman, which is okay because it's the same in UK or in Germany.
London,
you move out to outskirts.
You move out. So
it's the same.
Where I live, Peterborough, people live in Peterborough and commute. They get a 45-minute train to London every day, and that's just what they do.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new. You know, Sharjah, obviously an hour or so in traffic every day, but that's what people do. That's what people do all over. They commute to the big cities to live and work, and then that's good because the big cities usually expensive, which Dubai is getting now. But then the prices everywhere else, Iraq, Sharjah, those prices will go up as well, as everyone benefits from the growth.
So what's like, say for example, a difference if you're renting something here now for an apartment, or renting something in London or where you're living now? What's the price maybe in a townhouse?
Well, for where I live, it's absolutely crazily different. So for your average house where I live, for say a 3-bed detached house,
There's a nice area as well.
Kind of you'd be looking maybe about £300,000. It's like 1.2, 1.4 million dirhams.
Yeah.
Whereas for a decent house here, maybe you're looking at now like 2 or 3 million dirhams.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more expensive, but that's because where I live I'm basically living in Sharjah. I don't live in London. Yeah. Whereas actually Dubai, you compare it to London, and the average property price in London compared to Dubai, well, actually now Dubai's cheaper.
Yeah. What in the end, what you get here for is a metropole city.
Yeah.
It's like it's still so cheap.
Yeah.
What do you offer if you buy something, an apartment or a villa or townhouse? You have the security, you have the pool.
Yeah. Like gym, steam room, sauna.
Everything, you have everything.
Concierge.
Do you have that in UK, in London?
London, you do. Yeah.
London, a few new places. Yeah.
Yeah, London, but with London, it's a lot of older buildings now. You don't have those amenities. Yeah. You might have blocks of flats, but you don't have gyms unless you're going super high-end real estate, ultra prime. You don't have all of that in one spot. Whereas everything here is new, so it's been built well. You've got cafes and restaurants just over there. You've got an apartment block here with gym and everything else. So it's all built to be little communities. Whereas London, because it's built over the past many centuries, it's very different and it's not as thought out as Dubai because they've literally looked at what works everywhere else, what people want, and they've built it.
Yeah, exactly. That way it makes it so interesting. Have you been to Saudi?
No, not been to Saudi.
Is it maybe planned in the future to also do something about company setup and taxes there?
Yeah, I think so.
People asking about this?
Not really.
Not yet.
No, I think especially for British people, Saudi seems a bit too far-fetched still in terms of all the conceptions about women's rights, drinking alcohol, eating pork, these kind of things that British people actually seem to love. British people, if you say you can't drink in that country, the average Brit won't go there. I say no, I don't agree with that.
It just belongs to the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Western world.
And that's why Dubai is good for a lot of people because you can have a good English quality of life out here. You can go get a roast dinner. You can go to the pub. And all these things that British people like to do, you can do that here. Yeah. Whereas Saudi, you can't do that. Whether they introduce alcohol and legalise it at some point, maybe then it'll probably be an opportunity. But at the minute, people just want Dubai.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's what the other countries or cities underestimated. And like, say, 10, 20 years back, when they built the Burj Arab, countries or people were laughing what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
But look what's happening now.
It's working.
And now they're all trying to compete with Dubai. Yeah. But they won't have a chance. It's 100%. And what we experience also on the setup, on the visa process, that they also make it more harder for citizens, expats to get the visas.
Yeah.
So they're making more checks, which is good. Like different countries, when they're coming here, they're making some background checks. It takes longer to get the approval, even for medical. But because of the workload, it's getting higher and higher. Yeah. That's what the client doesn't see. So it's always vital if you're really thinking, or they're coming to you, that they really think, okay, they maybe need a bit longer to make the step, to plan that in. And then the pricing, of course, everything costs something. Yeah. The service, there's a lot of work behind you doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's it. There's a lot of work that goes into... For a lot of our clients, they see, okay, moving to Dubai is easy because actually all the back-end work that gets done, all the process and all the visa, everything else, it can be easy when you work with the right person.
Yeah.
Exactly that. We've heard horror stories. People come here, do it themselves, everything else. They get the wrong license, the wrong this, the wrong that, and ultimately it costs them money and time. They get fines. Whereas, it can be complicated coming over here for the first time if you don't know what you're doing. So always work with somebody that does.
Exactly. What else do you do in your tax company in UK? I saw you do your masterminds, you have online consulting coaching, you have groups, you're doing a lot of good things.
So what our main aim is just helping people pay less tax. So in the UK, we've got a UK accountancy firm that does annual accounts, tax returns for people in the UK still. Dubai-based expats look after their UK tax obligations, where they've still got property and business in the UK. We look after that. We've got a kind of online, it's called a Tax Smart Wealth Club, which is where we help people learn about paying less in tax. All the strategies, such as when you're in the UK, how to save tax if you are staying in the UK, but also helping you understand the opportunities outside of the UK, how you can structure things, and kind of lots more value and lots of content in there just to help people pay less in tax.
It's a lot, actually, yeah?
Yeah.
It's good, but you're scaling. How many people are involved in this project you're doing?
Yeah, so all the companies, between all the companies, we've got over 10 staff now across the globe. And in terms of client base, we're working with thousands of people a year between all the different services and platforms that we've got to help them pay less in tax. And that's our main driver, is just how many people are we helping each year, whether that's somebody who's subscribing to Tax Smart Wealth, whether it's a client at JSM, accounts at Farm, whatever it is. We just want to have as big an impact as possible.
Do you have any future goals with your company? Doing more masterminds here? Any plans?
Not really. It's just the first one is just the biggest. The main metric that we focus on is just the number of people that we reach effectively, the number of people that we help, and just try and get that as big as it can be. If we could help 100,000 people a year, 1 million people a year in some way, shape, or form, okay, fantastic. But in terms of actually any goals of doing things, no, it's just however we can do that. So if it is a mastermind, great. If it's kind of content or anything else that we do, fantastic. Just do as much as we can to help as many people as we can. And then off the back of that, living in Dubai, make decent money, have a great lifestyle. And that's probably the two main goals.
And at the moment, you're moving from UK to Dubai. So you stay, how long do you stay in UK usually?
Yeah, so no more than 90 days. So about 3 months in the UK.
Come usually here?
Yeah, usually here, and then a couple of months holiday, maybe Spain, more just general holidays, America, Asia and whatnot.
But it's holiday and work, because you collaborating people, meeting people, we're doing online things, so you're always doing something.
Yeah, always doing something.
Yeah, and showing yourself. What if you go to, for example, if you're in America or Spain, what do you like about these countries compared to UK and Dubai?
I don't like America, really. It's an all right place to go for a couple of days just to see somewhere new. That's all America ever is. In terms of living there, I would never live in America. Spain, I quite like because it's got...
Where?
Marbella, yeah.
So most UK people go there.
Marbella, Ibiza.
Yeah.
It's nice as a holiday spot. You've got kind of, speak a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of culture, somewhere different. Yeah. Great food, great wine and everything else. That's what I like about Spain. And just kind of being in the mountains, a bit of countryside.
And not far from Europe.
Yeah, not far. So
UK, Dubai.
When I'm in the UK, it's only a 2-hour flight. I can drive there as well. So you can I can ship my car, or drive my car to Spain, and then enjoy my car in Spain for a couple of months as well. And I only ever do that when Dubai's hot. Yeah. So that's what kind of a lot of people say, Dubai's too hot, I can't stay there. But actually, okay, most people that can, they do leave Dubai during the summer months. Yeah. July and August, for sure, Dubai is empty because people are, especially the wealthy entrepreneur, they go to Spain, they go to somewhere else because, for one, they're not paying so much tax, so they've got so much more money to go there. And ultimately, you usually go on your summer holidays in any way, regardless of where you live in the world.
Yeah, exactly. But people, it's like a dream to live in USA. And you yourself, you could be anywhere if you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. All I do is just work on a laptop all day, every day.
But you still, say you go to Spain or US maybe, or Thailand, but you still work or live, say, in UK, and you choose Dubai.
Yeah, exactly that. Dubai's got everything you need. The Spain, the UK, obviously you can't spend too long in the UK, you pay taxes. Spain, it's a good place to holiday and it's going to spend a couple of months, whereas it's more vacation-like, whereas Dubai, you can have it all. So today, we're recording a podcast, doing some work, and then this afternoon, Friday, go to a beach club. So you can work hard and play hard all in one place.
But then there's people saying if they want to move here or they've never been here, but they could move to Dubai or to the country for tax reasons, they say it's just desert and it's not real. Why do they say that?
I honestly have no idea. It's so much you can do here can literally go to Hatta, you can go kayak, and you can go climb the mountains, you can do everything else. And yeah, a lot of people just say it's just desert, but I think ultimately that comes from a place of ignorance and misunderstanding. They've clearly not been here, or a lot of people, it's probably they can't afford to live here. They're in the UK, they've got a full-time job, they've got no drive or ambition, so they see people doing well in Dubai, having a great lifestyle, and they just want to try and find some way to put them down and insult them.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, the combination. We also see an increase in clients, referrals coming here. People are moving, inquiring, and it's always they were thinking about another country.
Yeah.
But like the full focus is actually Dubai.
Yeah.
The families, school. When they come with families, always their kids in school,
Well, that's
and they pay their school fees as well.
You've got great schools here, great healthcare, and if you go to look at other places, it's probably hard to get just everything that you need. If you go to Spain, it might be difficult to get an English-speaking school.
Yeah.
To get the absolute best healthcare all in one place, whereas Dubai, you've got that. You've got a fantastic school, 20 minutes there, great hospital, 20 minutes there, so you can feel safe that your family are truly getting the best lifestyle possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks, Josh. It was a very interesting topic. So if they have some viewers, where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so the best place to reach out would be for the main website, jsmtax.com. Across all social media platforms, Joshua Tharby, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, on all of those, and that's Joshua Tharby.
So when you put in Joshua Tharby, I can't pronounce it, probably sorry for that, you're already showing up with the Google panel anyway.
Yeah, perfect.
So you're quite big.
That's good, yeah. The marketing works.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
Absolute pleasure.